Hello. In this review, we're going to talk about the German tankette, Wiesel. Although it seemed that after World War II tankettes were becoming a thing of the past, in the mid-20th century Germany decided to develop a new tankette that would meet certain requirements. That's what I'll be discussing today. I'll tell you about the capabilities of the Wiesel, go over its key modifications, of which there were quite a few, though many never went beyond the prototype stage, and explain why the Wiesel tankette is still relevant for Germany today. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click like. It helps make our content better. Let's burn. To understand why post-war Germany needed to develop the Wiesel tankette, we first need to look at its predecessor, the foldable off-road vehicle Kraftkarren. The name is a shortened version of Kraftkarren, and the vehicle itself was a hybrid of a motorized tiller, a small tractor, a quad bike, and an off-roader. It's also sometimes referred to as the Von Kraftkarren, since the project was developed by Zweirad Union, a subsidiary of the company Von. The full name of the company, as you can see on screen, was Fahrzeugfabrik Ansbach und Nürnberg AG. The Kraftkarren was a compact, foldable all-terrain vehicle, originally based on a motorized tiller commonly used in agriculture. Its primary role was to assist in farming and forestry tasks. It was created entirely for civilian use. It could be folded and unfolded in just a few minutes, took up very little space, had excellent off-road capabilities, and could transport not only cargo but also a few people. The Kraftkarren was officially introduced in 1962. Surprisingly, in the mid-1960s, the German military took interest in the vehicle. In 1965, 50 Kraftkarren units were delivered to the Bundeswehr for testing. The airborne troops in particular needed a lightweight, compact vehicle that could be transported by transport planes and helicopters, dropped by parachute, and used for evacuating the wounded, carrying cargo, and more. On the one hand, the army found a number of shortcomings: unsuitable wheels, a weak engine, and a frame incapable of carrying loads of up to 750 kilograms, as required. But the overall concept had potential: a compact, foldable vehicle that could be transported in large numbers aboard military aircraft. Another appealing possibility was arming the Kraftkarren with weapon systems. Von was tasked with upgrading the vehicle to meet military needs. Starting in 1971, an improved version of the Kraftkarren with a reinforced frame, better engine, and new wheels was delivered to the army for testing. The military was generally satisfied with the new version and placed an order for 862 Kraftkarren vehicles, which were delivered by 1975. From 1972 onward, various armed configurations were developed. One variant had a 20mm autocannon, another was equipped with a 106mm recoilless rifle, and a third carried the Milan anti-tank guided missile system, later upgraded to the BGM-71 TOW. There was also a version for medical evacuation, and one fitted with a 120mm mortar. In its unfolded state, the Kraftkarren measured 2,780mm in length, and 1,850mm when folded. Its width was 1,510mm. It offered excellent mobility, was quite fast and lethal for its size, and, importantly for airborne troops, was compact enough to be easily transported by military aircraft. However, it had one major flaw: in combat situations, the driver and crew had no protection whatsoever, neither from small arms fire nor from shell fragments. Still, the vehicle met many of the Army's original requirements. By 1969, the Wiesel project began, even before all the aforementioned Kraftkarren variants appeared. The Army recognized the Kraftkarren's potential and started envisioning what more they could achieve with such a platform. A design competition was announced to create a new armored vehicle. At that stage, it wasn't yet clear that it would be a tankette. Both wheeled and tracked chassis were being considered. The goal was to develop a vehicle weighing between 6 and 7.5 tons, capable of being air transported, with excellent off-road performance and light armor protection to safeguard the crew from small arms fire. The most promising design in 1970 was presented by Porsche, which was then awarded a contract to develop a feasibility study for both a wheeled and a tracked vehicle. That same year, the military revised its requirements once again. The new vehicle was not to exceed 6 tons, and its dimensions had to be small enough to allow transportation by the Sikorsky CH-53G helicopter. Reducing the weight was also intended to make the vehicle suitable for airdrop operations. As for armament, 3 different versions were planned, similar to what had later been implemented with the Kraftkarren. The task was to develop one version with a 20mm autocannon, a second with a next-generation anti-tank guided missile system HOT, and a third with a 120mm mortar. With the updated requirements, Porsche needed additional time to adjust its designs. But that wasn't the end of it. The military took things even further. They wanted two vehicles to be transportable inside a CH-53G helicopter. That meant a new weight limit of around 3 tons and even more compact dimensions. Porsche adapted accordingly and presented an updated design. By this time, the early 1970s, Krakow vehicles armed with various weapon systems were already entering service. The German army eventually decided that integrating the still unapproved HOT missile system wasn't practical and shifted focus to the American TOW anti-tank guided missile instead. The new vehicle was to accommodate a 3-person crew and carry a total of 7 TOW missiles. Of the 3 initial weapon variants, only the TOW version remained. The versions with the 20mm cannon and 120mm mortar were dropped. It wasn't until 1973 that the German Army's Ground Forces Command finalized its requirements for the vehicle's armor protection, which, as you can imagine, had a significant impact on weight. That same year, the military officially launched a competition for the new armored vehicle project, now codenamed Waffenträger LL. Despite the name, this project had no relation to the World War II-era German tank destroyer of the same name. 6 companies entered the competition, including Porsche, which had recently completed the feasibility study. Another contender was Fahn, the company behind the Krakow, but their proposal was based on a wheeled chassis. The other 5 companies presented tracked vehicle designs. In the end, preference was given to Porsche's tracked design. It became clear that achieving the required dimensions, weight, and off-road performance would be impossible with a wheeled chassis. Porsche's layout was as follows: driver and engine at the front, commander and gunner in the rear section, and the TOW missile launcher mounted between them. In 1974, a contract was signed with Porsche for the full development of the new vehicle under the Waffenträger LL project. By the end of that year, the Ground Forces Command decided to bring back the 20mm cannon version and tasked Porsche with developing a second variant. The initial plan called for the delivery of 270 vehicles. 170 armed with TOW anti-tank guided missiles and 100 with 20mm autocannons. Just a year later, the order was almost doubled to 500 vehicles total, 330 with 20mm cannons and 170 with TOW launchers. To assess whether the vehicle met dimensional requirements, Porsche built a full-scale wooden mock-up in 1975. It was designed to fit inside the CH-53G helicopter, and the results confirmed compatibility. This greenlit the development of a full prototype, which was completed a year later. Testing was conducted from 1977 to 1978, and the results were positive. In 1978, Porsche received detailed feedback and was awarded a contract for serial production, with the expectation that final adjustments would be made over the course of the year, allowing mass production to begin in 1979. In 1979, financial difficulties arose in Germany, which led to the decision to cancel funding for the project and abandon it altogether. The contract with Porsche was terminated. However, it's important to clarify one point. The airborne forces still intended to begin receiving the new vehicle no later than 1989, as they planned to fully retire the Krakow off-road vehicle by 1990. The project was shelved for 2 years before being revived in 1981, along with yet another revision of the military's requirements. This time, the decision was made to develop 2 separate vehicles with different weight classes. One vehicle weighing approximately 6 tons, capable of being carried inside a CH-53G transport helicopter. The other version weighing around 3 tons, to be airlifted as an external load by the same helicopter. Another competition was launched, and 2 finalists emerged: Porsche, with a tracked vehicle, and Daimler-Benz, which submitted a wheeled vehicle design. By 1983, each company had built a prototype, and both were submitted for trials. Porsche's design was once again preferred. Now, jumping ahead briefly, let's talk about the weapon systems and technical assessments from those trials. They tested whether a larger caliber cannon could be used, if commercial engines from civilian vehicles could be integrated, and whether existing transmissions were suitable. Budget and weight limitations played a key role. A larger gun would generate more recoil, add weight, and complicate the design. It became clear that anything beyond a 20mm cannon was not feasible. They ended up choosing a diesel engine from Volkswagen, which was both reliable and compact. However, weight and armor were still an issue. To keep the weight within acceptable limits, the decision was made to use a fully welded steel armor hull. And one more important factor: the airborne troops still insisted on receiving the vehicle in sufficient numbers starting in 1989, so it was critical that the winning company could guarantee timely production. Porsche confirmed it could meet the schedule and was awarded the contract in 1985. Under this new agreement, Porsche was given 18 months to build 4 prototypes, 2 armed with 20mm cannons, and 2 equipped with TOW anti-tank missile systems. It should be noted that the final choice fell on the lighter, 3-ton variant. Testing of all 4 prototypes began in 1986 and lasted about a year. In 1987, the vehicle was officially named Wiesel, and both versions were accepted into service: Wiesel TOW and Wiesel Mark, also referred to as Wiesel Mark 20, after its 20mm cannon. In 1988, a production agreement was signed. The order included 210 Wiesel TOW units and 133 Wiesel Mark units. Deliveries to the Bundeswehr began in 1990 and were completed by 1992, totaling 343 vehicles. That same year, right on schedule, the airborne forces retired the Kra-Ka. In 1994, a prototype of an upgraded version, the Wiesel 2, was unveiled. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, more variants of the Wiesel 2 were developed, and upgrades to the original Wiesel were implemented. In 2021, Rheinmetall, the company now responsible for the platform, introduced an unmanned version called the ACW Wiesel. Until 2023, the Wiesel remained in service only with the Bundeswehr. A few units, 7 in total, were sent to the United States for testing, but the vehicle did not meet US requirements. In 2023, Germany delivered Wiesel units to Ukraine, where the vehicle saw actual combat deployment. The only other recorded combat use was by German forces in Somalia in 1997. To this day, the Wiesel remains in active service with the Bundeswehr. And now, let's take a closer look at the basic version of the Wiesel. The hull of the Wiesel 1 light tankette has an all-welded construction made of steel armor plates. The nominal weight is 2.75 tons without any armament installed. When equipped with either a TOW anti-tank guided missile system or a 20mm automatic cannon with a turret, the maximum weight can reach 3.3 tons. The overall height with the TOW anti-tank guided missile system is 1.9 meters, and with the cannon it is 1.8 meters. The hull length is 3.3 meters, while the overall length including the cannon is 3.6 meters. The width of the tankette is 1.8 meters. The driver is positioned at the front right. He has his own hatch and 3 periscopes, one of which can be replaced with a night vision periscope. To the left is the engine transmission compartment, housing a 5-cylinder Volkswagen diesel engine producing 86 horsepower. This allows the Wiesel to reach a maximum speed of up to 80 km per hour on roads and up to 60 km per hour cross-country. The Wiesel 1 has 3 road wheels per side and is equipped with torsion bar suspension. The differences between the two versions lie not only in length but also in crew size. In the version equipped with the TOW anti-tank guided missile system, the crew consists of 3. The driver, with the commander and loader seated behind him, positioned side by side. The anti-tank guided missile launcher is mounted between them. Up to 7 TOW missiles can be carried and used. This version is also known as the Wiesel 1 TOW. The second version, the Wiesel 1 Mark, is fitted with the Rheinmetall E6-2A1 low-profile turret, armed with the 20mm Rheinmetall Mark 20 RH-202 automatic cannon. This variant has a crew of 2, the driver and the commander, who also serves as the gunner. The cannon has dual belt feed, allowing a quick switch between ammunition types. On the left, 60 armor-piercing rounds are fed, while on the right, 100 high-explosive rounds are supplied. Another 240 rounds are stored inside the hull, for a total of up to 400 rounds. The turret traverses 55 degrees to the left and 55 degrees to the right, with elevation from -10 to +45 degrees. The commander is equipped with a Perry Z16 daylight sight with 2x and 6x magnification, which can be replaced at night with the Perry Z59 night sight. The tankette's armor provides protection for the crew against 7.62mm caliber ammunition and shell fragments. The basic version did not feature smoke grenade launchers. These were introduced starting with the second version. Both base variants of the Wiesel also had several further modifications. I'll start with the upgrades made to the Wiesel 1 Mark. The basic version was designated Wiesel 1A0 Mark, while the next upgrade received the designation Wiesel 1A1 Mark. This version was fitted with improved day and night sights, as well as a laser rangefinder and a ballistic computer. A total of 74 vehicles from the base configuration were upgraded to the Wiesel 1A1 Mark standard. In the 2000s, the Wiesel 1A2 Mark appeared. 25 vehicles of the Wiesel 1A0 Mark were brought up to this standard. The main change was the installation of new sighting systems, otherwise, the vehicle remained largely the same. Plans had called for more extensive upgrades, but program funding was cut. The Wiesel 1A3 Mark was a further development of the Wiesel 1A1 Mark. All vehicles of this version were equipped with the Army Command and Information System, FUINFOSYS. The same upgrade was applied to the Wiesel 1A2 Mark fleet, bringing them up to the Wiesel 1A4 Mark standard. The most recent modification of this line was the Wiesel 1A5 Mark, which received several improvements. First, the commander's sighting system was upgraded with the Israeli Electro-Optical EOPTRI SLR system from Elbit Systems, incorporating a thermal imager, a CMOS day camera, and a laser rangefinder. Second, the hull bottom was reinforced to provide better protection against improvised explosive devices. Third, upgrades were made to the transmission. Additionally, new headlights and a rear-mounted camera were installed to give the driver better visibility of the area behind the vehicle. The TOW missile carrier version also underwent 2 rounds of modernization beyond the base model. The baseline version was designated Wiesel 1A0 TOW, while the Wiesel 1A1 TOW was additionally equipped with a 7.62mm MG3 machine gun. Another improvement involved replacing the commander's and loader's seats with more comfortable ones. The Wiesel 1A2 TOW received the FUINFOSYS command and information system. This version of the tankette underwent more fundamental improvements. When the Israeli Spike anti-tank guided missile system entered the European market, Germany decided to replace the TOW system with it. The Wiesel 1 MELS, which means Mehrrojenfähiges Leichtes Lenkflugkörper system, or multi-role light guided missile system, was created. For this version, improved sighting equipment was installed, and the onboard electronics were upgraded in line with the Wiesel 1A5 Mark standard. This allowed for more accurate target engagement at extended ranges of 4 km to 5.5 km, significantly enhancing the combat capability of the vehicle. Additional improvements included reinforced bottom armor, upgraded seat belts, new rearview mirrors, an improved braking system, and added storage compartments for the crew's personal belongings. Another version worth noting is the training variant. A cabin for 2 people was mounted at the rear of the hull. The instructor seated inside has a full set of controls identical to the driver's, allowing the vehicle to be used for training Wiesel drivers. One more variant developed for the Bundeswehr was the reconnaissance tankette, Wiesel 1 BTM 208. This version was fitted with a French-made SAM BTM 208 turret, armed with a 12.7mm M2 Browning machine gun and a coaxial MG3 machine gun. The ammunition load for both the M2 and MG3 is 500 rounds each. The vehicle was also equipped with communication systems and other components required for reconnaissance missions. There were also a number of other prototypes and one-off Wiesel 1 versions, but we won't cover them here. In 1994, the prototype of the Wiesel 2 tankette was first introduced, which itself had several modifications. The second version of the tankette was larger than the first. The internal volume was doubled, from 2 cubic meters to 4. An additional pair of road wheels was added, bringing the total to 4 per side instead of 3. The Wiesel 2 measures 4.78 meters in length. Its maximum height, depending on armament type, is 2.17 meters, and its width is 1.87 meters. The maximum weight was increased to 4.1 tons. A new 4-cylinder Audi diesel engine producing 109 horsepower was installed, but due to the higher weight, maximum speed dropped to 70 km per hour. Compared to the first version, the second was planned for broader use, with more variants envisioned. These included a command vehicle, a reconnaissance vehicle, a self-propelled mortar, a self-propelled surface-to-air missile system, and an armored ambulance. However, there was no version equipped with an anti-tank guided missile system. The crew size is 3. Production of the Wiesel 1 ended in 1992, and in 1994 the first prototype of the Wiesel 2 was unveiled. In 1995, under the Laflassis program, Leichtes Flugabwehr System, Light Air Defense System. The Wiesel 2 was selected as the chassis for a new short-range air defense system, which received the export name ASRAD. The ASRAD system, known in the Bundeswehr as Laflassis, consists of a command post with radar and the Ocelot self-propelled surface-to-air launcher, all mounted on the Wiesel 2 chassis. The system can include up to 8 Ocelot launchers. Each launcher is equipped with 4 rails for Stinger man-portable air defense systems, enabling the interception of aerial targets at ranges of up to 6 kilometers and altitudes up to 2 kilometers. The command post is equipped with a 3D radar capable of detecting targets at ranges up to 20 kilometers and altitudes up to 5 kilometers, while simultaneously tracking up to 20 targets. The Ocelot launcher itself can also autonomously detect and engage targets. It is fitted with a TV camera, a thermal imager, and a laser rangefinder. The crew consists of 2. Both the commander and driver of the command vehicle are trained to operate the radar and control the systems. For self-defense, the command vehicle is armed with an MG3 machine gun and has smoke grenade launchers mounted at the front. The Ocelot launcher is also fitted with smoke grenade launchers. The Wiesel 2 entered service in 2001. The Bundeswehr ordered 178 vehicles in various configurations. The armored personnel carrier version, in addition to its 3-man crew, can carry up to 4 fully equipped infantrymen. At the rear, there are 2 outward opening doors through which the troops enter and exit the vehicle. The medical evacuation version, with a crew of 2, can transport 3 wounded soldiers seated and 1 on a stretcher, or alternatively 2 medics and 2 wounded. The interior is equipped with all necessary medical gear to provide first aid during transport. Another variant of the Wiesel 2 was fitted with a 120 mm mortar mounted in the rear compartment. This is a smoothbore, muzzle-loaded mortar capable of engaging ground targets at ranges up to 8 kilometers, with a rate of fire of about 8 to 9 rounds per minute. Ammunition load is 30 rounds. To stabilize the vehicle in firing position, support legs are lowered at the rear. The next version was designed for reconnaissance and combat engineering tasks, known as the Wiesel 2 Pioneerkundungstrupp. It is equipped with various engineering tools, including equipment for supporting sappers and mine-clearing operations. The vehicle is also fitted with a communication suite and other essential systems, including protection against chemical and biological agents. In terms of armor protection, this version remains the same as the original, protecting against 7.62 mm rounds and shell fragments. But Rheinmetall did not stop development there. In 2021, an unmanned version of the Wiesel was introduced, called the ACW Wiesel, short for Autonomous Combat Warrior Wiesel. It was based on the Wiesel 2 and likewise has 4 road wheels per side. The unmanned vehicle operates in several modes. It can be pre-programmed to follow a set trajectory. Cameras mounted at the front allow it to automatically detect obstacles and maneuver around them. Another option is the follow mode, in which the Wiesel can track and move behind a vehicle or a person ahead of it. Remote control is also possible via a control unit, with video feeds from the onboard cameras and system status information displayed on a tablet. With the driver's station removed at the front, 2 hatches remain in the center of the hull, along with internal space for transporting infantry or for other tasks. In 2022, trials and demonstrations of this unmanned version were conducted in the United Kingdom for the British Army, but since then there has been little information regarding potential orders. Development is ongoing, and the system continues to be offered to prospective customers. And that concludes the story of the Wiesel tankette. Hopefully this video was interesting and informative for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click like. That's all from me. Peaceful skies to you. Goodbye.